What If Show, hosted by Darius Davis, where real issues meet real people, where culture meets college matters. From community leaders to athletes, activists to everyday voices. If it matters to people, it matters here.
Where the truth, you know, ain't the only truth that exists.
What if change started with a conversation?
Every street got a story, every block got a legend, every city got a what if, every rumor got a message. We take the myth, the whispers in the night, flip the script, shine a light, turn the shadows into sign. What if studio?
The What If Show.
All right. My name is Darius Davis, your host of the What If Show. Everybody, please go like and subscribe to the What If Show. Today, I have Mrs. Kim coming in today, and she's going to talk about her particular basketball association, and we're going to learn a little bit more from her. Mrs. Kim, for people just not hearing about this, what exactly is the HBCU Basketball Association?
Well, in a nutshell, we're a sports association. Our goal, first of all, let's go into our goal. Our goal is to make sure that we shine light not just on our HBCU players, but our HBCU community, our universities and colleges, making sure that we get the community engaged with them, making sure that we build and direct future leaders to these HBCUs, and also to make sure that we empower our athletes, our families in the underserved community.
Oh man, that is awesome. That is an awesome mission. I'm so glad to hear you guys are doing those things. The phrase "something different is happening" really stands out. What makes this different from a normal summer league?
Well, this is a tournament style league. So a little backstory. I owned a couple of semi-professional leagues and a couple of different teams in a couple of different leagues. And the roadblocks or barriers that I hit was finances. Why? Because you have to have a 20 game schedule. Then we're not talking about playoffs. We're not talking about championship. A lot of these leagues don't provide you, they don't pay for your referees, they don't pay for your venue, they don't do a lot of your marketing, they don't pay for your balls, they don't help you with uniforms. Everything is solely on the owner. So what happens is you pay your market reservation fee, and then you're just left out to just figure it out, right? They send you all these people that can help you do something, but guess what? That costs as well. So what I decided to do after, let's keep in mind, I launched this league in 2022, and the model was completely different. And so once I sat back over the last couple of years, and tried to figure out what was best for not just me, but for the people involved, from owners to players to the community, I said, how can we make this work? Well, after talking to a lot of people, it costs a lot to travel. It costs a lot to pay for a venue. It costs a lot for this. So what I decided to do was take a league and minimize it to a tournament style, meaning that we're not going to play 10 home games, 10 away. We're going to spend one Saturday, 10 to 12 teams competing for the playoffs. The playoffs will be 4 to 6 teams. The championship will be 2 to 4 teams. And that's it. All they are responsible for is making sure that players have uniforms and making sure that players are at the games. It also helps players that are, I love the title of your show, by the way. So you have so many athletes that want to go pro, desire to go pro, play overseas, all that. But let's be honest, if you look at statistics, less than 1% now make it pro. So I always believe, even when I had my teams, that we walk around, and just my own soul, we walk around wondering what if I would have. But what if we can eliminate that barrier by giving them an opportunity to live out their dream by dribbling or throwing their ball into their purpose, depending on what sport it is. And so that's exactly what we're doing. We're eliminating those barriers for those athletes, because what I learned when I had those teams was that most of my players dribbled their way into purpose. They became athletic directors, computer engineers, entrepreneurs, artists, songwriters, like everyone. Was it 100% success rate? No, but at least 92 to 95% are making a footprint throughout our communities.
Awesome, awesome. I really I'm glad that you said that, and I was thinking about it like you said all the time. I sit around and I say, what if I'd had this opportunity? What if I had that opportunity? And I see that you're providing an opportunity for some people, and
Yes.
that's a wonderful thing. Also, like I say, me personally myself, I played a little bit, and I was a coach also. So I knew a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew a lot of players, and even myself. I asked myself, "Hey, had I had this opportunity in my life, what I could have did with that."
Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly. And then you also, so we do more than basketball. We don't just focus on them playing. We focus on the whole athlete, right? We take a holistic approach. So when you come to us, we're just not saying, "Oh, dribble, oh, win." Yeah, we do want you to do that, but okay, so what's next for you? Like, what's next? Like, what is it that if you can't, if let's say you come to this tournament, it's scouts there, from overseas, or somebody's watching from overseas, so they'll be streamed, and you don't get picked up, right? What's next? Like, what exactly do you want to do? So we take a holistic approach. I tell people all the time that I'm not just a business owner. I'm a social entrepreneur. And what I do is I build businesses or organizations that, our main goal is to solve social problems, right? Economically, right? Environmentally, culturally, emotionally, whatever it is that we have to do to make sure that we're making an effective, not just an impact, an effective impact on the community. That's what we're here for. So this is why this league is so important. In that one day of all those games, we'll be giving away book scholarships to college students, and some other things as well to build up the community. So I'm just excited about what's next.
Oh, that is awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I do want to ask you this. Why did you kind of attach the identity of HBCU to it?
I'm an
And what does
HBCU.
that mean culturally and competitively? Why did you attach that identity?
So when we first started, so when I first started in basketball, now I ain't gonna say first, but when I became independent, owning my own teams, most of my players came from HBCUs. And I asked them, I would, of course, it's in the age of Google. So I'm looking them up. They declared themselves for the draft and all of these things. I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I started doing my research. You let's see. And I don't even know if he's still playing. Who is it? Robert Covington, I think that's his name, or something like that, with Tennessee State. He's like the only player that's actively or was actively playing in the NBA from an HBCU, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, look at my players. And so then I kind of was already on that track. And at the time, I met someone and partnered with them, and we decided to do the league. And it was because, first of all, I'm an HBCU girly. That's my culture. That's what I grew up around, from family to friends to myself. And so I understood what we were not receiving. We don't get the same. We're starting to get eyeballs now, but guess what? They still not drafting us. They'll invite us to the summer league. We still don't get drafted. Now we might end up overseas, maybe, but then you have to be careful where we're going overseas, right? Because sometimes it's not always what it's cracked up to be, the pay, the living conditions. So it was just like, okay, what can we do to give them one last chance to make it count? Because if they go overseas, their family can't see them play. Even think about this. Until here recently, if you played at HBCU, I'm gonna be honest, a lot of players' families didn't make the games, especially away, especially if they didn't go to a school that was close to home. So I think that culturally, it's motivation, it's empowerment, it pours back into our community and also builds up. It guides our youth to see that it's somewhere you can go where you can be you. right? You don't have to change. Ain't no switch code. Ain't none of that. You can be you. You're not just the number when you go on that campus. You are Kimberly, right? Our Kim. You are Darius, right? It also shows alumni that this is some of the stuff that you miss and missing. Pour back into your schools. It shows your city leaders, hey, if I have a HBCU connected to me or connected to my city, let's do more.
Awesome, awesome. I really love that. Now me personally, I didn't get a chance to go to HBCU, but my parents went to HBCU, and kind of try to rewind back to history. I can remember my father telling me how all of the top players at one period in time were going to HBCUs.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so you know, right now we still probably have a lot of top players going to HBCUs, but not like you said, getting that exposure.
Oh, yeah,
And
definitely.
seems like you're providing that opportunity for them to be able to get that exposure. That is a great thing. I do want to ask you this. I understand that this is, about ownership. Can you kind of go in a little detail about the model that you're using? Um,
Okay, so my model is very different. Um, so what I figured is I me alone, I can't bring eyes to these guys or eyes to the community or any of that. But I have friends that can. And so what I decided to do was reach out to all my friends that played in the NBA, the NFL, maybe played overseas, maybe they have influence, right? And I reached out to them and told them what I was doing, and they were on it. Like, hey, let me get a team. Let me put my name on it. Let me go. Let me come to the tryouts and pick me some guys and build them up. And then of course they're very competitive, of course, so we can win.
awesome. That is awesome. I love that ownership model. That is the greatest thing ever. I'll probably be sending some guys your way myself.
Well, please do. I mean, the beautiful thing about it is that, and you'll be the first to know, unless they have registered, they would know this, and we haven't made the big announcement yet. But like I said, finances is always a barrier for these guys. When I used to have tryouts, my tryouts started off at 150 because I had that type of quality things going on, right? And so then I dropped it to 75, right? Then I dropped it to 50. Then they'd be like, what you got? You know what I'm saying? Because I would look at the passion in these, and they would be out there trying to, just doing their best. It would hurt me if they didn't make either one of my teams, but it ain't never my decision. You know what I'm saying? As much as I try to influence, I can't, you know what I'm saying? So what I decided to do this time was, how can I really make this impactful? I have people coming from all over the Southeast, from New Orleans to Georgia, from Tennessee, Florida. How can I make this big? I think somebody is coming from Arkansas. I ain't gonna say just Southeast, but a few other places as well. But how can I make this work for them? That was another thing about the making sure that it was just one and one, because if I make this team and I stay in New Orleans, I gotta move to Birmingham. Where I'm gonna stay? They haven't said they were gonna house me. Have I housed people for a year? Do I like housing people? No, it's too much. It's a lot when you don't have a big staff, So we've decided to make, not only do they attend, everybody gets to come and see the games for free, but anybody that wants to try out is free.
Oh man, that is amazing.
Yeah, so they'll get to try out for free. All the coaches will be there, plus some other special guests. And then it's open to the community. So kids can come watch these grown men go out for a professional tournament style league led by real professional athletes. Those who you have, NBA champions and, NFL players. So it's like, you can't beat that.
That is great. That is amazing. That is amazing. So I see you do have multiple team owners involved. How did you assemble this leadership group? I think you got a few guys like Jason Caffey. You also have KJ McDaniels, Paul Gaffney, Wes Saxton, just to name a few. How did you get all these people together?
So personal relationships, integrity is something that I stand on. I think that's what's kind of difficult as a woman in this space, especially the space that I'm in. I I think I am the only far as I know, I'm the only female, especially African American, that solely owns a basketball league. I don't have any partners. It's my husband. I'm not married anymore, so my husband is not behind it. Like it's all me. All this has always been me, and I appreciate everybody that has supported me on this dream because I know the business of basketball. Did I ever play basketball? No. I know the business of football. Have I ever played it? No, but I have met so many people in my career that have had these experiences, and I've been able to talk to them and consult with them. And so, outside of this, I kind of work with athletes post career. So, Jason is a good friend of mine. I've worked with him on some things. Paul Showtime Gaffney, the legendary gold charter, that's like my brother. I am actually I'm actually the president of one of his companies because of the relationship we built. And with Sexton, he has always played in all of my celebrity charity basketball games. And he does pretty well. So I figured maybe why not let him on the team since he won't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you have KJ McDaniels. When I first got the Magic City Surge, one of my players was very, very good friends with KJ. I met KJ. That was in 2015, and we have been friends since then. He has supported me along the way. When I told him what I wanted to do, he said I will be him and Paul were the first two people to actually get a team. Yes, and so and for them, it's an outlet. It keeps them still involved in the game in some shape, form, or fashion. Allows them to pour back and allows them to network even more because they all are doing great things. Now, KJ is still playing basketball overseas. He comes home during the summer, but all of these guys are doing great things post-career, and it keeps them relevant. It keeps them engaged, and it continues to allow them to pour into the youth and the communities that love them along their career.
Oh, man, that is an amazing thing. That is so awesome. That was a great idea. You were able to do that. So what does it mean to, have all these former pros involved in leadership? Is that a difficult thing from time to time? Because, some people have egos. Some people have, their own mindset about how they think things should go. And how do you manage that?
So I think I have been blessed because we have previous relationship amongst us that I don't have to deal. These are really some genuine guys. Their hearts are so full and so for the people that they're, I call and I they're my counsel. They're my sound counsel when it comes to this. I do have a business manager. I want to shout him out, Brandon Bowers. He's definitely like my sounding board. But when it comes to, the court part and, those moving pieces, those are my guys. Shout out to my former head coach and still my head coach now, the Magic Search, Richard Ford. All these guys are just so amazing. There's no egos involved. Now, what they do outside of with me, I don't know. But as far as I know, they don't. But I don't, in this space, like I said, I've been working on this since 2022, and I've had a lot of letdown, a lot of empty promises, a lot of, behind the door type stuff. And so that's why it was important to make sure that I deal with people who I knew had the same foundation I had was integrity, right? And so I don't have those problems thus far. I don't anticipate having them just because of who these guys are. They still have to worry about their reputation. They still are active in things. You gotta look at Jason. He's been touring with the Bulls, former Bull players, right? He has a lot going on himself. Paul Gaffney is building a school. This is his second school. He's building a school. Like all these, you have Chad Slade. He's coaching high school football. You have Richard Ford. He's a assistant athletic director and head coach of a high school. So all these guys have things attached to them outside of this that is important to them. And they're not going to jeopardize that because of their ego. And I hope nobody would do that.
Great. do want to ask you. I know that you see this thing maybe in the next 3 or 4 years growing. Do you see it kind of growing maybe outside of Alabama or growing bigger within the state?
Oh yes. So the goal was never for it to just be here. This is just the foundation. Soon it will be. It might be a tournament here. It might be a tournament there. Might be a tournament there. We pick players from there. Go to the playoffs. So it'll grow. But I decided to make it where my roots were. Birmingham and the Fairfield area, making sure that we're a central hub. We're in the center of a lot of places where these guys are coming from. It's a lot for them to do if they decide to come early, like on a Thursday or Friday. But I don't ever think one dimensional. So I always think beyond that. So my vision has never been for it to be just here. This is just where we're beginning.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So when people, kind of maybe watch our show or ask you about it, who is this league really for? Is it for former college players? Is it for overseas hopefuls? Is it for guys that just underrated talent? Who is this for?
Anybody that think they can play 18 and older. I don't care where you come from. If you 18 and older and you think you can play and you think you can come to the tryouts and make one, and these guys are excited by the trials. They was like, yeah, we're going to see them run the court. I'm going to have a 5 squad. So I'm so excited to just see who they pick for their team. Like, I am super excited. Like, we have close to 50 people that have already registered, and that's before the free tryout announcement. Now, keep in mind, we have 10 to 12 teams to field.
Yeah.
So, we're really looking for almost 100 guys.
Yeah.
Really 100 guys. Now, of course, if we don't get 100, they have some people they can pull from, but they're really going to try their best to pull from what's on that floor. They're not trying to bring their own guys in.
Gotcha. That is amazing.
Now, well, it's a couple of them might bring 2 or 3, but you have up to a 10 to 12 man roster. So it's still an opportunity for pretty much everybody to hit that floor that's about their business. Yeah. They can make a team.
Okay. Now, I did want to ask you this question. You kind of cleared it up for me, but what's the difference between someone who makes a roster and someone who just doesn't make a roster?
Well, somebody that doesn't make a roster, we haven't quite figured that out yet. We have talked about a wild card team. Mm-hmm. And so that wild card team would be, it will be 2. And those will be the 2 teams filled with those who didn't make the roster, meaning that we'll assign a coach to each team. Okay. And they might be the underdogs and might come back and take it all. We don't know. So, but I'm hoping that everybody that hits that court makes a team. But if not, the plan is to have 2 wild card teams, assign them some more pro coaches, pros that are coaches. They won't be owners. They'll just be coaches. And they'll be able to compete in the tournament. And we'll see what they do from there.
Awesome. That is awesome. That's amazing. So the date for it is going to be April the 19th, league-wide trials.
Yes, so that's a league-wide trials, April the 19th at 3:30. We are not dropped, especially because it's going to be free. It's going to be way closer to the date. They just know it's going to be in Birmingham. Before we drop the location, I just want to see how, because if we get a max number of people to try out, then we're going to cut registrations off, right? Even though it's free, I encourage everybody to register and let us know that you are attending. That's going to be very important. Now, if we don't hit the 100, then your pull-up game can be strong because that means we're going to say, okay, just pull up. But like I said, we won't drop the location until it's closer to the date.
Okay.
Awesome. I was going to drop the location like when we had like 20, but then when they kept on registering, I was like, oh, wait, I might need to slow down. Slow down on pump the brakes, Kim. I really didn't expect the response I got that quick from this. So I'm extremely grateful for it. And that's how come I was like, I cannot, because I work, I'm a social entrepreneur, but I work in missions. That's my 9 to 5. And so, my everyday is serving people as a personal development coach. So I just I just couldn't see in the stories that I know about my former guys and the guys that ran across the court in front of me before. I know, and then in this climate, I know the financial struggle. So it's just working with my sponsors, trying to make sure that everything is free for them to attend the tryouts. And then when we have the tournament, all day free for kids and their families to come in. Something for the parents to bring the kids to. We'll have food trucks. We'll have entertainment. We'll have DJs throughout the day. We'll have a DJ at the tryouts, actually, and some food trucks. So, yeah, we're super excited.
Oh, man, that sounds very amazing. I do
Pull
want to
up.
ask you. Oh, yeah, most definitely. Hey, I got to. I'm definitely going to try to get there. I do want to ask you about that, like scouts and agents. Would they be involved in any kind of way in this whole thing?
So I will be reaching out. I have talked to a couple of the owners that have connections that will invite some people out as well. I've had a couple of scouts reach out to me as well. So I don't know if they'll be at the tryouts, but they will be at the tournaments. Probably at all the other stuff too, if it's fun enough, but they will be at the tournaments all day. Tryouts, pretty much probably not so. They're gonna, wait to see what talent was picked and then move forward from there.
Awesome. So if some of these kids, so if some of these people want to players see themselves trying to get a pathway to play overseas, play in the minor leagues, do you think this will eventually in some way become a pathway for that?
Oh, definitely, of course. I don't see why it wouldn't. Everything will be streamed live for anyone to see. I will be reaching out to some of the semi-pro teams and semi-pro leagues, inviting them out. I'm not one of those people. So if you think you can help this young man be great, come get him.
Okay. Awesome. So basically about the business system, how is important ownership is important within this ecosystem? How important is that to you?
Ownership on my end or just ownership of the team? On my end?
On your end, yeah.
I think ownership is a blessing. Ownership is important for our community, our culture. But we have to recognize everybody's not meant to be an owner, right? But that doesn't mean that they don't have a space. And so it's important that we as owners, and I don't like to say owner, as leaders, right? I learned this from my boss at my job, that we are creating a space to develop other leaders, right? Some people are just not confident enough to move forward into leadership or ownership. So I hope that my story, I was a teen mom, I had to get a GED, but now, I was blessed to have all these opportunities, and my life became a great, my life became a great masterpiece, for the world to see. And so that's just all ownership, as you would say, is about me. That whatever I'm doing is reflecting out or causing a ripple effect for those around me, wanting them to do better or finding their own space. And I think that's what we have to realize. Let's take ownership off the table. What's important is finding your space, knowing what works for you. I know that I love my 9 to 5 out because I love to serve, and I know I love this, and it's conducive to my schedule, right? And so sometimes we have to know that you don't have to quit your job to own a business, depending on what it is or depending on what your aspirations are. Everything I do has to serve. I have to serve. That's just what I do, right? And so I don't like to say ownership. It's just making sure you're in the right space and creating those spaces. Awesome. Adding value to the space, wherever space you are in also.
Great. Because, sometimes when we do create stuff, we tend to add value to it. And once it started to add value to it, we go looking at the dollar signs. We go, hey, if I sell this thing off, or if I can reap some benefits of it, and
let me tell you something. If you really knew if you really knew,
yeah,
dealing with others, that was their thought. Oh, you can sell a team for this and that, this and that. And I'm looking like, okay, that sound good, but what about we gonna get some scouts and recruiters at the game? Like, the goal is to make sure the eyes are on. So, I want this will lead me to this. Knowing how to pivot, right? Reading the room. For a long time as an entrepreneur, I did not know how to read a room because I wanted everybody to win. Still do, but sometimes people are not meant to win. Sometimes people are meant to sit in the stands and watch the winning team, right? Because their motives are not right. And so we're not owners. What we are leaders, creating spaces for other leaders. We also are making sure that our intentions are pure, right? Because if you keep on chasing the dollar sign, you'll never get anywhere. You'll be stagnant. The only reason this is moving forward because I removed everything that was around me concerned about the money and kept those around who was more concerned about the purpose.
That's awesome. Hey, that's a great blueprint. I'm glad you said that. That's maybe more we need to do in like our communities and everyday life. Try to remove the money situation and put purpose. Insert purpose.
Put purpose, because if you think about it, most successful people chase purpose.
Purpose.
They have a vision. Of course, everybody want to make some money. You got to eat. You got to live, right? Yeah. But why we chasing it? It's already there. It's ours, right? But what is it attached to? It's always attached to purpose more than anything else. So focus on the purpose. The dollars will come whenever they come. You just got to know how to maintain and manage.
That's so true. So true. All right. So I'm kind of looking at this thing. Have you faced any challenges just trying to get this thing off the ground?
I told you I started in 2022. I was on the Sports Illustrated. Woo, that's a big A. I was on this, like, so you can imagine, I felt like I failed. Like, I was out on these news articles, on TV interviews. I mean, me and Barry Allen was in an article together because he had picked up the league to show on his network. And just imagine all that failed because other people was chasing dollar signs while I was chasing purpose. Wow. Oh, so that's why I said you got to read the room. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. Yeah. Our intentions were different.
Yeah. I can see that. I can definitely see that. That is an awesome testimony. How you getting this ground off the ground.
That's why I said pivot. There's nothing wrong with pivoting.
Nothing wrong with pivoting. So also now, do you believe that this might have a chance to evolve in maybe some NIL partnership deals or?
Like I think that once we get the engine going, that it's going to open so many different doors for so many different opportunities, not just NILs, just so many different opportunities, right? And so the purpose is to grow the community, engage the community, grow the HBCUs, get eyes on it, like all of that. So I'm hoping that as we grow, that those things are attached. We're already in talks with people, about teaching NIL classes and helping students know what an NIL is and all of this stuff. Financial literacy. One of our owners coached overseas. And his whole thing, he's a motivational speaker also, is about financial literacy, just because he decided coming out of college, instead of going pro, he wanted to coach instead of going pro. Just because he knew that, hey, eventually I'll hurt myself, then what's next? So he focused on the coaching part. But he focused on financial literacy. So then you have somebody else that focuses on mental health. Like, everybody has their own topic that they focus on purpose, or on I'm trying to find the right word. I be stumbling. Not purpose, but not vice, but I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, what they specialize in,
Not even specialized, but where their heart lies. I can talk more on a servant basis, where your heart lies, how you want to serve, the way. Excuse the door in the background. How you want.
They're calling. Yeah.
They're calling, right? And so everybody has experienced something where they can actually talk to these youth and say, "Hey, let me tell you, this can happen. As much as we hope it doesn't, this can happen. These are the stories. These are my stories. These are my friends' stories. This is what I've seen." So everyone has their own thing that lays on their heart that they need to speak on. And so, like I said, we don't focus on just them dribbling the ball. We focus on the whole athlete. If they're interested in starting a business, having someone to say, "Hey, let's say in this, they start getting attraction on their social media, right? Well, we do like the NFL and NBA do. You need your own foundation so that you can hold your own camps when you go home, right? Or when we have camps, we can bring you in and say, "Hey, he's hosting a camp this week. This one is So it's just teaching them the game, right? Teaching them how to play it. Everybody else know how to play it, but we're gonna have to show you how to play it with purpose. It's a difference."
Hey, that's awesome. I do want to ask you about a little bit about some of the biggest misconceptions about your league. Sometimes you have people who are looking at it in a certain way or a certain light. Have you seen any misconceptions that people have been having about your league?
Just one. Oh, it's a money grab. Ain't nobody paying for nothing. The owners, they just have to make sure they have uniforms and they show up to the game. Nobody's paying for refs. Nobody's paying for venues. Nobody's paying for balls. They're only status. You're only paying. Owners are only paying for their uniforms.
Awesome.
It's not a money grab. It's like I said, it's important. It's so important because we have these leagues that come in the area. We have all these things going, and they're not engaged with the community. You're in communities where they can't even. They barely can go to a high school basketball game. Yeah. And then you got to keep in mind, they might not ever experience or have ever experienced professional style basketball.
Yeah. It's so true. It's very rare that some of these people will be involved in a professional style basketball. Very rare, especially in person.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just about, experience and exposure, right? Those are two words to attach our experience, exposure, and entertainment. It's going to be fun. These guys are going to have a good time. The kids should have a good time. The community should everybody should have a great time.
Awesome. So if you could give me one word to describe your entire league, what would it be?
Purpose.
Awesome. So what is the most important quality you think that a leader may have in your league?
Compassion.
Awesome. Whether it be a coach, whether it be an owner.
Yeah, compassion. You don't know what that person had to go through to get there. You don't know what disappointment they had to bring them there. You don't know what dreams they had, the what if that never happened. So I think compassion is going to be so important, not just to the players, to the janitor at the school that got to clean up behind all this, to the DJs, to the volunteers that are working, to the people sitting in the stands. Compassion is going to be so important.
Awesome. That is so awesome. So who are the right people that really should be paying attention to this league? Who should be paying attention?
I say overseas recruits. I know the temperature is real hot right now, but definitely overseas recruits. I would love for the G League to pay attention. I would. And then probably some semi-pro teams that know that they are connected enough to level these guys up. If they can't level them up, or give them a better opportunity, then I don't think it's going to be good, because then they're just still on the same playing ground. So the purpose is to level them up. We're not, we're just giving them that exposure and that opportunity to let it all out on that court so people can see who they are. That's the purpose of it, for them to become a better person on and off the court.
That's amazing.
Purpose.
That is amazing. So I'm gonna kind of wrap it up. So if a person is serious and they're watching the show right now, how would they go about registering? How would they go about getting in contact if they want to be a part of it?
The easiest and simplest thing to do. So the website will not launch until April the 15th. That's why we're doing everything through Facebook. But it would just be best to go to facebook.com/Magic City Surge.
Okay.
And they can look on the timeline and see how to register. It's a link. And then my email is on there as well. They can email me directly.
Awesome. So you said April 19, league-wide tryouts.
And then they hit the court. They hit the court June the 20th.
June
June
20th.
weekend.
Okay. Awesome. So I really appreciate you coming on my show, because basically, like you say, it just came to my mind. I knew a lot of players and I played with a lot of players. I'm like, what if they had this opportunity? This would be so great. And I really wanted to get that word out there that you were having this tournament to a lot of people that I knew and a lot of people that may be watching. And I'm so grateful that you came on my show today. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. I'm just excited to see who's going to bring home that trophy. Who's going to have that bragging rights for 2026?
Most definitely. Thank you, Ms. Kim. And anytime you got something else, please just let me know. I'm going to try, like I said, pull up when it all pops off.
Okay.
I definitely want to pull up.
Well, I thank you for reaching out and asking me to be on the show. I've enjoyed myself, and I will keep you abreast of everything that's happening moving forward.
Please. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.